Should you hire a tax professional? We'll answer that question, and I'll give you 10 reasons why you should consider working with a tax professional. My name is Jake, and I am an investment advisor here at Stewardship. And this is actually one of the most common questions I get from clients is, should I be doing my own taxes or should I hire someone to do it? First, let's review 3 ways that you can get your taxes done. First option is to use an online preparation software, someone like TurboTax. I've used TurboTax a lot. I like TurboTax. They're easy to use. They just ask you a series of questions to figure out what was going on with your life tax-wise in the past year. And it's great. It works well for a lot of people. Second option is to use a company, someone like H&R Block. Yes, they have their own kind of version of an online software, but someone where you're actually sitting down with a tax professional. You might not have an ongoing relationship with that person, but at least you're working with someone and you get to ask questions. That's your second option. Oftentimes it's at a cost that's more inexpensive than your last option, which would be working with a CPA, so a certified public accountant. Now, oftentimes a CPA specializes in an area, maybe working with business owners, something like that, and they're usually the most expensive option. So taxes are confusing for a lot of people. I get it. So before I give you the 10 reasons why you should work with a tax professional, let's review it in light of the 3 stages of wealth building. So if you're in the first stage of wealth building, you probably don't need to work with a tax person. Chances are your situation's pretty basic, don't have a lot of complexity. An online program probably would be sufficient for you. If you're in the second stage of wealth building, remember, this is where you're doing things where you're getting familiar with investing, building wealth. You might consider working with a tax pro. I say that because you might actually have some things that add more complexity. Maybe you do have a rental property, just something like that. You feel you might value someone's advice. Third stage of wealth building, I recommend it. Here's why. In the third stage of wealth building, you're kind of moving from just simply tax preparation to tax planning. So the difference is if you're working with a tax professional, they can think critically about things. They can plan for years in the future, and that's big for someone in that third stage of wealth building. I know a lot of people, in that third stage where they are doing their own taxes, and that's fine if your situation's not overly complex. But I would say this: it's not like you always need to have a complex tax situation every single year to justify working with someone. It's just nice to have that relationship and for when things come up in the future. So if you're wondering what those 3 stages of wealth building are, we will link to a playlist where you can learn more about each stage. So here are 10 reasons why you should work with a tax professional. All right, here we go. Number 1, if you are a business owner, there's so much tax planning and just random things that don't apply to personal finance, but do apply because you're a business owner. Hands down, no brainer. If you own a business, working with a tax professional is key. Number 2, if you're subject to the alternative minimum tax. If you don't know what this is, you're probably not subject to alternative minimum tax, but it's just a complex tax situation. Probably want to work with a tax professional. Number 3, you have a crazy amount of itemized deductions that can be confusing. So I remember early on in my career, I was trying to take the home office deduction, and doing that through TurboTax, I was not confident in what I was doing, and I just didn't do it because I had no idea what was going on. So if there's just some deductions that you're not sure about or complex, you might want to work with a tax professional. Number 4, you have complex equity compensation through work. Things like stock options, restricted stock units, just things like that where it's out of the ordinary. It's not just regular pay. But those types of equity compensations have big tax ramifications. Number 5, you own rental properties. There's things like depreciation that I've seen people not take before. Maybe you're thinking about selling a rental property in the future and there could be capital gains. So if you own rental properties, definitely work with a tax professional. Number 6, maybe you're thinking about doing things like aggressive Roth conversions where you're putting yourself into higher tax brackets. We've written about Roth conversions on our blog. I'm a big fan of them. I do those with clients. But there's tax ramifications for doing Roth conversions. Just working with a tax professional can give you confidence to know that you're doing the right thing. Number 7, you have specific one-off needs like settling an estate for a relative in a different state. So it's not like if you work with a tax person, you don't need to work with them every single year. Sometimes something comes up and you need advice. And then the last 3, you don't want to do your own taxes. That's totally valid. I remember buying brakes for one of my kids' bikes because it didn't come with brakes. It was probably a really easy thing to do, but I did not want to figure it out. There's no instructions. I could probably look on YouTube to find it. I was like, I don't care to do this. I took it to a bike shop. Totally valid reason. Number 9, you just don't have time. Time is great. And if you can hire someone to do something that frees up that time, that is okay. And then the last one, you are afraid of messing something up. Like I said, TurboTax is easy, but I know it doesn't always give you confidence. So if that's something where you want the peace of mind to know that it's getting done correctly, work with a tax person. Bottom line, complexity means opportunity to work with a tax professional. If there's anything that's complex about your situation, I think it's a good idea to seek professional help. I'll say this about tax professionals. They're not only there to find ways to save you money. Yes, they can probably do that a lot and they can save you money, but I know that I work with a tax professional because they will get things done correctly, and that's what I pay them to do, and that's what gives me peace of mind. So I'm working with someone that knows what they're doing and is providing good advice and getting things done correctly. So if this is you, if every year during tax time you're wondering if you should keep doing taxes yourself or if you should seek the advice of a professional, I hope this helps. Be sure to share this video with someone who would find it beneficial, and thanks for watching.
Perfect.